today there was a press briefing or press conference, but then it was March and March along with other civic organizations, including some political parties, that all came together and then they held this press briefing. And then they were addressing a lot of things, that has to do with this immigration thing, the June 30 deadline, the response from the government, and what we spoke about yesterday as well about the police, coming out, or the acting minister of the police coming out and talking about spending this 600 million, to combat South Africans and whatnot. So I wanted us to touch on this press briefing because it was a bit hectic, not hectic, but there was a lot said, because now you had all these people, all these organizations coming together and then addressing all these issues because as we know, there's a lot of allegations towards them, and some people are asking, where is the funding coming from? And some people are saying, oh, they vigilantes and all those things, you know what I mean? Trying to create some doubts in people's minds. I don't know if any of you guys saw that and whatnot, but it was a big deal on social media, all the news platforms were there. It was a big deal. I think it was in Joburg, Midrand, something. Anyone seen that? No. Even you, Vinas, usually up to date with these things.
Man, you were talking about the event where they were selecting a person who's going to try the president impeachment.
No. I was just talking about something else that time. I'm saying I
wasn't listening.
The press briefing by March and March, along with other organizations like Operation Dudula and other ones.
Oh no, I don't know about that. I don't know about.
I don't know if there were more political parties, but I do know that the MK was there. They all had a representative. They all were sitting in this table with a lot of microphones, and then one by one they were speaking. All that. No one saw it.
Were the government officials there?
Well, no, because again, they see these organizations as anti-government and whatnot, so I don't think they'll be showing them support. But I don't know, maybe you saw a clip. There was a clip whereby apparently there was this journalist that I guess he said that Jacinta said these people must perish, and then Jacinta was like, what are you talking about? You're spreading some misinformation about my name. Show me that video you're talking about. And then this journalist was freezing. And then they said, no, we're stopping this whole thing until you show us the video of me saying.
Oh, that's why I know. Oh, the one that was saying, no, the sentiments. And then she was like, no, don't tell me about sentiments.
Yeah, because the journalist said, hey, there's a video of you saying this, that, and that. And then she was like, okay, show me that video. Show me that video. Because now you're telling me that I said this and that and whatnot. What kind of...
Do you have the video then?
I do have the video.
Let's look at it.
Okay, let me show you this video.
I haven't seen it.
Let me show you this video. I think it was a bit weird, because... Again, like yesterday, we saw a video of Malawans attacking police, but on the news, they were saying it's violence from South Africans, which was wild. Oh, yeah, here's this video. Okay. I'm going to show this video to you guys now. So it was a long press conference, bro. It was probably like, maybe it was 3-4 hours, something like that.
Show me that video.
You used the word wrongly.
No. Show me that video. No, show me that that
You
video.
used the word wrongly.
No. Show me that video
They
where I
must
said they must.
leave, but you
No.
said
Show me that video. Show me that video.
Yeah,
Show
but
me that video.
we have to be civil. because
No,
this is
there's nothing to be
media.
civil about if you're lying
Can-
about me.
can we
Give me
be
the
civil
video.
with this?
How? What are you talking
Because
about? Perish.
I'm
When have I ever
asking-
said they must
I'm
perish
asking a
here?
question and you interject
Show me
in
proof.
Please.
Proof.
That's a
Show
dangerous
me
statement,
proof.
sir.
Just list
How?
all the, because you called out political parties that don't support you. Kindly list for us political parties that you think have been supportive of your campaign. And yes, the video does exist.
Show us the video. Show us the video. Show us the video where I said
I
they
would
must
like
perish.
Jacinta to respond because I think we cannot have media houses here
How?
making dangerous statements.
No, let him take
And
out.
can you please
Let
take
him
out the
take out the
video?
video.
Wanna see the
Let me
video?
show you. See the video.
Sir, from UFM. Can we ask
It's very
you,
important.
sir,
And it's
can you
dangerous.
please show us
Show us
the
the
video?
video.
No, we're not
No,
continuing.
no,
we wanna see-
you must
show us the video.
We want to see
Show
the
us the
video
video.
where you are alleging that Jacinta
Said they must perish.
people
People
must perish.
Show
That
us
is
the
a
video.
dangerous statement.
Show us
Show
the
us the
video.
video. I want
How?
the media to make record of this.
Yes.
That this
Show the
gentleman
video.
from
No,
UFM
show the
has
video.
said, and
Show
please
the
show us
No,
the
we are not
video.
continuing.
Show us the
Show
video.
us.
And then we will project it for everyone to see. As we continue,
Show the video.
can you, yes.
No, we're gonna run it how we want to. You're not gonna tell us how to do it. You can't come here and say
Now stop talking.
Show us the video.
Phela nje.
Right. Can we please proceed to the second
He's
journalist?
not even South African, this
Can we
guy.
give the second?
No, but give him time to show us the video.
Okay.
And let him show us the video. Wait, he must show us the video.
He must show us.
He must show us the video. Oh.
It was definitely a party for the media. You know, I'd be shocked if they don't replay this many times on the stations.
No, Lindo, you must keep this as part of your archives. Yeah, Yawana, I like what you did. You gotta put people to the fire. We don't continue until you bring proof. Either you bring proof and you admit, no, I just made a statement out of my own head. I thought, this, I just assumed or insinuated whatever. You can't say someone said something and then when you're asked for proof, you want to say no, what? No, show the proof or retract and apologize.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
because
That's the easiest way.
it's crazy because they do this a lot. They do it like, bruh, I don't know. Like, as I was making an example where they actually played a video, bruh, of people who are not South Africans and they're saying they're South Africans. And they do this a lot, especially when it comes to questioning the people that they don't like. The fact that we hear about xenophobia, the fact that we hear about Afrophobia, all these things. I didn't even know that Afrophobia existed, So it's like, what do you call it if maybe they say Egyptians don't like Moroccans? What is that? Is it Afrophobia?
No, Afrophobia was a spin-off xenophobia because the Pan-Africanists said this hate is directed only to Africans. So it doesn't fit exactly as xenophobia. So they coined Afrophobia.
So now when it comes to, the Bangladesh, the Pakistanis, all those people out there selling corrupted SIM cards and doing other crazy stuff like printing fake documents, all those things. So they don't see that the South Africans are also calling on those people to leave as well because all of them are illegal.
Actually,
what is that?
For me, like I said, I don't like to be trapped in these terminologies, But anyway, that's what they said about Afrophobia. But for me, Pakistan, Bangladesh, I don't know, man. I don't know what it is that ties us to that. Okay, I hear the arguments on the African continent. Some countries, we have former relations with in terms of struggle, whatever. The Pakistan, Bangladesh, I don't know. Unless our politicians have some other deals they create that we don't know about. But as far as I'm concerned, we shouldn't be having that. We shouldn't have an influx, you know, for Pakistan, for Bangladesh, and all of that. I think if anything, we should be able to count how many of those we have. You know what I mean? Not like this influx. You
I
understand?
think I think also it's the religious factor towards it. Since South Africa it's almost like a free for all. Everyone is on paper, by the way, is allowed to exercise whatever religion and in some respects whatever I guess sexuality or what they have this type of freedom towards it. So in doing that, you invite a lot of um, foreigners, illegal foreigners in this case. You get Bangladeshis, you get Pakistanis, you get even other Arab nations coming to South Africa, opening up tuck shops or informal supermarkets and disguise them as legit. And mind you, they also have mosque, illegal places of worship behind the scenes, and they get their products from other illegal foreigners as well as of course the Chinese and all of those, and it all falls under the umbrella of the government just allowing people to just come in unchecked. They don't know if these people are wanted in their own countries. I don't know if like they don't have a paper trail towards these people once they touch South Africa. Even like I don't know when was it? There was a guy who was wanted internationally. Was one of the most wanted criminals in the world, and then he was found in Cape Town working at a gym. Like what is that? So within all of this, you have a lot of people from all over the world coming to South Africa because our laws are just relaxed. They just have a lot of holes in them, and our own government and our own police, they don't even know the law really to begin with. So that's the problem that we're facing. That's why everyone can just come in here, criminally, like the worst of the worst. There's no
And,
doctors here at
and
all.
also, and also, I've seen a video, but I already knew about this as well. When it comes to, you see, the people from Pakistan and Bangladesh and whatnot, because of the weak laws that we have in this country, they're abusing the asylum seeker program, right? But then the law says if there's something happening in a country, in fact, it's international law. You go to your neighboring country or nearest country. So I don't know. Maybe there's a different map in this world of this planet, but I don't think South Africa is the nearest country to Pakistan or Bangladesh. You know what
No,
I
in
mean?
fact, the what's happening here is, and I mean, as I've
And there
observed
is
over
no
the
war.
years, yeah, as I've observed over the years, it seems there are special rules for South Africa, and that's why we're the only ones who are xenophobic in the world. I've
Mm,
not heard this much talk about xenophobia, except, I mean, xenophobia is made uniquely South Africa, you know.
yeah.
So I think somehow, and I think it might be a political leadership. These obligations to, is it international community or whatever, I think there are things or agreements they are in that we may not be so privy to.
Mm,
But also, just a few thoughts, for us, the panel, and also our audience.
mm,
I mean, let's think about this realistically. Uh, if you just look at history, our history in South Africa specifically, you can see that already there were wars going on between our different groups here in Southern Africa, right? We went through colonialism, apartheid, all of that, you know. Then we get to 94. So there we are trying to deal with many issues, many complex issues. The different cultural linguistic communities, the indigenous linguistic cultural communities who were oppressed. Then we have the settler colonialists who came through. So we're trying to balance that equation. At the same time, you open the gates for all the poor people in Africa to come to South Africa. And the reality is, if you are poor and you're going to another country, you are going to go into the community of other poor people. You're not going to come here and go to Sandton, Hyde Park, Cape Town, in the posh areas where the politicians, the business elite live. So they don't see you. And that's why I understand why the politicians are out of touch. They don't see it. They don't experience it. Got nothing to do with them. And
The
so,
ones that they live with are the ones that are already successful with child trafficking or sex trafficking and drugs and whatnot. You know what I mean? Because they already make so much money to the point whereby they can afford those lifestyles. So they just pose as whatever businessman, you know, and
yeah.
whatnot. But they live there
So,
with them because some of them they do business with them.
so
Illegal
economic
business, as we've
class,
seen with the Madlanga Commission.
yeah, economic class becomes a factor. And so now that's why it frustrates me. The the middle class, especially Pan-Africanists, and and that's where a lot of the divide I have seen in terms of the debates on social media. That is what has largely split the Pan-Africanist, straight down the middle. Largely, you are seeing those who are well-to-do mostly, and those who maybe are Pan-Africanists but they live in the township. A lot of them have a different outlook because of where they live. And so, there's that. And it's not sustainable when you've hardly resolved those issues that we're dealing with post 94. And then you are bringing in other issues now. And other issues come up that are way beyond your control. And I think the state does not have the capacity. First of all, the state didn't even have the capacity to deal with the maybe 12, 13, 14, whatever number of ethnic linguistic communities we have in South Africa. We have 11 official languages. They have not even made strides in developing the indigenous African languages to the level of scientific exploration. Even to be used in business and all of those things, in government. And that's what they said their mandate was, by the way. The Pan South African Language Board, that was its mandate. As I was doing my linguistics research. So you cannot then, before you even meet the needs of your citizens, at a baseline. I'm not even talking about, make everybody wealthy. I'm just saying baseline, taking care of those you are responsible for primarily. And then you bring in everyone else. For me, that's a recipe for disaster. It is bound to create conflict. We already had conflict just with us, Mazulu, Bavenda, Botswana, and all that. And then now you bring in other people from, completely different cultures. You know what I mean? Our cultures are not necessarily the same here in South Africa or Southern Africa, but we have somewhat acclimatized to one another, largely, for the years that we have been in close proximity. So that's the one thing. The last thing I want to mention, we're talking about all these other groups, and then, Mpowetu mentioned mosque. When you mentioned mosque, and how, for me, I have no problem with people having different faiths in society. But now, I just look at we, the African people in this country, spiritually, culturally, and all of that, it's kind of like we try to be included here and there, but you don't have like real true recognition. Like, what is your holiday on the calendar? You know what I mean? Your culturally, like Ramadan type of thing. Where is yours? And you know Umkhulu Ntsingisa from the Great Empire of Kenya. Umkhulu has been trying to push for the African calendar. I don't know what's so hard. It's there. He's not saying created. He says we've created it. Here it is. You know, let this be the thing that governs us. And it's based on our seasons, our cycles, what is natural to us. It's nowhere. You know, you look at different spaces, university campuses, what, you'll always find praying spaces for all the religions, everything. When hey, your thing, it's like it's demonic, yes. And that's my problem. These Pan-Africanists who seem so intellectual, they're so knowledgeable. You're like, okay, so how do we bring the African being into the space? You know, and it also links back to what I recently heard from the Grand Master of Pan-Africanism today, PLO Lumumba, when he was commenting on the March and March. He said, don't allow vigilantism, Mr. President. You know, you can't have half-naked people running up and down in Durban and Johannesburg.
Wow.
So
wait, Lumumba, the one and only who always speaks at universities.
PLO, the one and only PLO Lumumba, Grand Master of Pan-Africanism, disrespecting our culture. I'm like, no, but you know what I mean? Why? How can I take these so-called elders? But it also shows, you know, as much as they are seen as teachers, you know, that's why I don't look at anyone as a god, you know. And unfortunately, I haven't heard anyone taken to task on that, or, you know, him apologize or reflect or anything on that. But that is a very sensitive, sticky point, because that is white supremacist colonial rhetoric. The Europeans said they found us here running around half naked. So now, no, for real. So now it ends up being like, I can't take you serious until I hear you give me some explanation or apologize or something. No. So for me, African cosmology, African ontology, culture, language,
philosophy,
there I'm not going to apologize, because those are the things that speak to our being. Politics, religion, all these other things, yeah, these are add-ons. It's like wearing clothing. You can take it off, you can put it on. But what we are, what is within our DNA, what blows, the blood of our ancestors, what flows through us, you can't argue and negotiate with that. You are who you are, and you are linked to your people. And so those are just my reflections, brothers. You can,
even just on that point, even Giz, I don't know if you remember when we did a live stream and we touched on Giz on how they putting him through courts and he was fined like 250,000 for, I guess, in their view, for insulting, you know, a gay couple or the LGBT whatnot rights, right? And then and they said that he must apologize and take training to understand better, you know, the alphabet community ways. You know what I mean? So now he came out and then someone was asking him about that situation. He's like, I'm not gonna apologize for anything, because at the end of the day, they clearly not talking to me. You know, they're actually talking to the king and to the rest of the Zulu nation, because what I'm doing, it does not come from me. It comes from the culture that I come from. You know what I mean? So you're really saying everyone must disregard their culture and whatnot and follow different ways of life and whatnot. So
yeah. You see, it is the point I was making yesterday that you've got to think about this thing and have an awareness of the kind of society you are living in. If Ungizwe had said those things in another African country, wouldn't have been a problem. But he said it in South Africa. And in South Africa, and I'm just saying this also for the brothers, just as a caution. There are some things that, not to say we shouldn't address them, we should be careful in how we address them because of the environment. Now, I am not going to say anything about the LGBT community because I ain't got no 500,000 for no court case. and I'm trying to go to prison. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I have my own cultural values, my beliefs, but in South Africa, we have laws that are very tight. And if you go on GBV, on LGBT, a whole host of things, women's rights and social justice, those kinds of things, you must tread carefully. So in other words, I'm saying, if I was maybe somewhere in an influential, powerful position, and I knew that if you come for me, I can take you on for sure. But right now, I don't know how your pocket is looking, Lindo. Maybe you can take it on, but I'm telling you, man, it's a hot one.
I just got my belief. That's all I got.
But I'm curious though on one thing though. A person like Ngizwe is taken to court. He's fined 250,000. He's asked to do some training and understand this thing better. But okay, they have the power to do that, right? But what about the people in that culture who really, by the majority, by the way, I think, who really think what those two guys were doing wasn't in line with the culture? So does it mean now Uguti, they have the power to do whatever to that culture and that culture is not expected to do anything? Because a lot of people, okay, as they continue doing this, what do you think is going to happen to the future generation? How are they going to take it? How are they going to see their culture growing up in a specific way, being told this and that, and then suddenly they come across such situations?
Well, the aim is to wipe the whole culture. Not just Zulu culture, every culture, because in the future they want a South Africa that does not have tribes.
Okay. The people who think their culture is being disrespected that way, they are not wrong. They are doing whatever they're doing, okay? But the people who are part of that culture feeling that they are being disrespected, that is not part of their culture. Okay, my question is now, so there's a room for them to sue them too, to stop them what they're doing. Because what they're doing, I assume it's not by majority. Like a lot of people, like...
So in South Africa, we have this body. I forget what it's called. I think it's the something linguistic cultural communities. If you can check it, look it up, Lindo. There's a body, it's similar to the Pan-South African Language Board. It's one of those bodies that were created. This one, deals with religious communities, linguistic, cultural communities, and so on. I think, if you feel you need recourse, you might want to, test that. The challenge you will have is the Constitution is the supreme law of the land. And you are going to then see just how much your culture counts. Because realistically, it's similar to what I told you, I think yesterday, about our kings and all of that. The president is above all of them. In practical terms, the president is the sovereign head of state of this territory. So your tribal leaders, your so-called tribal leaders, your kings, your cultures, everything is subordinate to that. That's the reality that is now. And so, even if you wanted to take it up, ungadliwa, you can still be chowed, you know.
Imagine, because usually they will tell us politically the majority rules. But when it comes to certain things, the majority doesn't rule, it gets dictated.
Yeah. And
So
that's where power
it's
now,
really,
power becomes the differentiating factor. You see, it's like
and the fun,
in South Africa, right? As a citizen, your legal rights are protected. You have the right to, the legal process and all of that. But if you have money, you can get the best legal representation. If you don't, a state attorney shall be assigned to you, and yeah, your
And you know how
chances.
that goes. You probably
So
go
so
to jail.
so in a capitalist society, you can have the democracy, the rights, everything, but everything counts on the money, the dollar. How much do you have, you know, for you to get the best outcomes in every situation? It's like healthcare. Healthcare, sure, public healthcare available, but if you really want healthcare, like healthcare, you're gonna have to pay. You need to have the money. So do you see that? And it goes with every level, all services in society. You know what I mean?
so
Your existence is based on how much money you have.
Yeah, but also with the Ngizwe thing, you know, he even made an example of church. Let's say you see, okay, I'm just gonna remix the example. Yeah, let's say you see a pastor at a tavern or a bar wearing the church attire, and you can see him like sipping a quart of beer, bro. What would be the conversations on social media and everywhere? Christians would be like, what is this? What is happening here? Because it's a sign of disrespect, disrespecting the church and whatever laws they abide by, you know. And I don't know if maybe they'll be starting to sue people that maybe went against that and whatnot. I don't know.
no, there will only be, there will only come, I'll tell you what will happen. The Christians will only complain. There's only a specific groups of people who like suing people. There's just a specific group of people who like suing people.
Have a dictatorship mentality.
I don't know, when we speak, when we're talking on a live, on a pod, or we're talking person to person, or it was a personal conversation when I said, why am I forgetting this? It's running away. No, remember it. You can go ahead. I just lost train of thought.
Back on the March and March thing. So as we know, guys, it's been all over the social media. They've sent out their minions to start putting doubts in people's minds about who is funding this March and March. Who's behind this? Who's really behind this? Because for some reason, it can't be the people that are in front of you. There needs to be something behind the scenes. And a couple of days ago, we played the video as well of a guy that was just doing his TikTok, and he was explaining using the animal farm analogy, you know what I mean? And then he also stated that why is it every time that people are forming a movement or doing something together, fighting against something, there has to be some money behind it and whatnot. So you meant to tell me these people could not have just come together and actually fight for a valid concern? It has to be some funding behind it. But then Jacinta and the crew, I guess they addressed it, So I have a video here and I can show it to you guys and then we can hear what they had to say.
Baby, give us that 600 million and we'll show you how to take care of a country. Where are you getting your money from? Israel. Guys, I don't even know anyone from Israel. The only time I ever heard about Israel was in the Bible. And now I'm hearing that I'm funded by Israel. The amount of time people spend on conspiracy theories really worries me. So you guys telling me that black people cannot stand up for anything unless there's money involved?
Sure.
Are we not smart enough? Are we not entitled enough? Or do our brains not function unless there's money involved? I find this so very offensive because if this movement had a lot of white faces here, everyone would be like, "Oh, let's hear what you have to say." Oh my gosh, why do we have the issue of illegal immigrants? It's such a fundamental right for people to be protected in their country. But because it's black people, you find the most offensive things to say to us. It's disgusting that the media keeps pushing this agenda of us as black people not being able to stand up for ourselves in our communities because we're black. And everything we must do must have money involved. Yes, we know there are people who have bad motives and bad intentions for doing something. But have you ever seen us going to Israel and getting money? Why would you run a story that you don't have proof of? Have you ever asked us for our bank statements and we said no? If you've ever asked us for bank statements and we said no, rightfully write that and say you have issues of who's giving us money. We have bank statements, guys, where people donate. If you want to see them, today I can give them to you. Don't keep making us airheads in our heads. Because now these people, you don't even understand how very detrimental to our lives this thing of aligning us with certain people is. Because you say we are aligned with Israel. What do you think the Palestinians see us as? Why do we care if Palestinians and Israelites are in South Africa? Because that's the exact problem that we're talking about. What kind of African country has people from other religions fighting religious wars in that country? We are an African country. Why must our African beliefs and values be pushed aside so that we can get ourselves involved in things that have nothing to do with us? Whether you're Muslim or whether you're Jew, it doesn't matter to us. We just want you to be in the country illegally. Finish. And asking us where we get our money from if you're not going to contribute a cent to us is not helping us. Give us 600 million as well. Then ask us what we're doing with the money. Because we're not a government entity here. We don't use taxpayers' monies for our existence. Everything that we have to do here requires us to put in our own money. And if South Africans are donating to us, why is it a problem? Because we can't do anything for ourselves. Yeah. No, guys, I really find this question highly offensive. Highly. And I'm saying again, if you want our bank statements, we are more than happy to give them to you. Nabila.
And then, I would understand if there were a political party, because you know exactly the end point, what it is. They want political power. They want to be in parliament or they want to rule the nation, right? So there's something there that you can work on when it comes to a political party because they have something tangible and visible to gain. You know what I mean? So I don't get it's a movement, it's an organization and whatnot, So I don't understand this funding thing and whatnot, but then I do understand that it's made to install some disbelief in people, some doubts, and all those things. But I don't get it. But even if they were funded, so what? You know what I mean? What's the issue? I don't get it because even the name itself, or even whatever they stand for, it's all rooted in illegal immigration. Perhaps maybe, let's say, every illegal immigrant was deported in South Africa, I wouldn't see a need for that movement to continue, right? Because the end goal would have been achieved, So it's an organization that can come to an end. It has an end point, Not these organizations that were meant to bring change and whatnot and have been around for 30 plus years, but they're just receiving donations, not just from the public, but they're receiving donations from, people who are responsible for a lot of harm in this world. You know what I mean? And they conduct, the business that is not written in there, whatever. I don't know what you call it for an organization, but for political parties, it's manifestos and whatnot, or mission statements or whatnot. You know what I mean? But then what's your thought, guys?
Yeah, I quickly want to say something about that. I think this is all still a part of the ethnic cleansing of our own tribes and our own beliefs, because we know very well that only political parties are the ones that are funded mainly. Your ANC,
Like, where
your
was these
DA,
questions for the
your
EFF? Because
like
out of nowhere, I'm sorry, bro.
mm,
Like, you remember when the EFF started? At that particular point in time, it was very publicized in South Africa that Julius Malema was bankrupt. You know, I don't know, I don't know, they repossessed the cars and the house and whatnot, all those things. You know, I don't know, I think he was let go from the NC, but he was in turmoil. I remember those times.
mm,
And then, boom, the EFF came about, instant success. There were no questions about who's funding Julius. To be
yeah,
frank with you, I'm even curious today, bruh. Where are these guys getting all this money? But then with political parties, it's more clear that all political
mm,
parties have funding behind them. Like
yeah,
everybody knows that. So when it comes to political parties, you can question and then also you can do your paper trail as well. You can do research and find whatever transactions that go through their accounts. You know, they would never share their statements with you. Never. But for some reason, there are people that believe their intentions. You know, you can continue.
So, in terms of funding, specifically with the EFF as well as the DA, they will say most of the time, if you do just a little bit of research and maybe use your own um, sense of
Understanding
research,
or
yes, you will see and read between the lines that it's gonna say they get their funding from private donors, and the majority of them are businesses. So already, what that tells you is that those businesses, of course, they have interest, and they see them funding these people. They are expecting an outcome of income. So with them funding these groups, see, they're getting some type of outcome out of it that benefits those businesses and those private donors. So coming to my point of ethnic cleansing is that if you strip away the identity of the people by introducing all of these foreign concepts within those people, who said it's been 30 years. He spoke about how different our beliefs and cultural values are here in South Africa. We have different tribes, many tribes that are different, and somehow we have accepted that from one another that we are different and we express our beliefs and cultural values differently. So in that, I believe that ethnic cleansing is part of this whole mission to push away and paint African, no, not African, traditional leaders, or a traditional spokesperson like Ongeze, who within their communication and their expression still have their cultural values in mind whenever they speak. Just like how they try to censor him with that whole court and being fined. It's still part of his own culture. So they try to censor him, to shut him up, because in his own culture, that specific thing was not allowed. So with part of ethnic cleansing, we are forced to accept all of these foreign concepts, and we have no choice in the matter. That's why, like, come on, we even ourselves are not allowed to practice our traditions. They look down on them.
yeah, they came
They,
out with these animal groups. So now if you're doing like an African ceremony, like it's animal abuse.
this is like you get a wild animal, like a tiger, for example. You make it grow, you groom it, you take care of it, and then you force your beliefs onto that wild animal, that tiger, and then you go out there and then you tell people that I know my tiger is a vegetarian, he takes medicine, he has human feelings, he loves the teddy bear that I bought him, although he plays with the kids, and then a few months, a few weeks or months later, you are shocked when the tiger eats a person. You're like, this is not the tiger or the pet that I took care of all this time. You are shocked. There's the animal instincts of the tiger kicks in. So this is part of it where they fail to recognize that we are people, we are different, and in our difference, we allow each other and accept each other in our own difference and in our own cultures. So now when you're introducing foreign concepts, foreign entities, you are disturbing that acceptance or that harmony that we already have or we're trying to discover within each other. That's why churches, ANC mainly was founded by churches. That's why they are big on people who go to churches. That's why mainly people who go to churches vote for the ANC. And of course, you have these fly-by-night political parties that spawn out of nowhere just to create this division within us, and they express all of these agendas, try to divide people. So my point is, this is all ethnic cleansing to strip away our own identity and make us susceptible to whatever idea that they trying to push in that moment in time. Already we have a huge amount of mosques, huge amount of synagogues, like large amounts of people from different creeds, different religions coming to South Africa. But the indigenous people, the natives, are not allowed to express their cultures and traditions. It's absurd.
It's intentional. So I will speak on the funding, but I'll just pick up.
I want us to touch on the funding because
No, let me start where you left off, and then I won't take long. I just wanted to point out you see the example of the tiger is perfect when you're talking about cultural subjugation. You have to understand that was the whole intent with colonial dispossession. It was not just about land and all these things that are material. It was about taming the African spirit, and that's why they went straight for the culture and the spirituality. It was. But now you see, the thing is, you can't, like Uswani said, you can't keep, you can't tame that spirit forever. And so yawona yakubuka ke manje, I don't know, but in a spiritual sense, I get a sense that all over Africa, it's a spiritual struggle. Our ancestors are emerging through us. When you're seeing all these revolutions, when you're seeing all this unease, turmoil, you can't even control it with state security. You see, and that's why they had to go for it, they had to demonize it long ago, when they were dispossessing of your land, because they realized, these guys, why do they come fight against us when we have guns? And they know we're gonna shoot them, but they still come and fight. So they realize that, no, man, there's something in these guys. There's a spirit that will not be subjugated. So that's why now they had to move. Even with apartheid, the architectures of it, they realized we've got to put a tight system that absolutely controls these people. Make sure they abandon their ancestral things, demonize all of it, give them a new thing, tell them it's better. So that was the taming process. So now we are at the end, the tail end of the taming process. You've been manufactured the way they thought they want you. Kodwa awungeni kahle. That thing of yours is still, every now and then, it fights to come out. So now we are at the
Computer
end game.
malfunctioning.
Yeah, it's always going to malfunction. Virus. So on the funding, Fetu, I'll be honest, and I'll have to take a bird's eye view on this because I don't know who funds Much and Much. I don't know how the funding goes. I don't know, self-funded or externally funded. So you
Well,
know,
what is out there is the fact that it's donations from the people.
no, I mean, for me, you know, it really doesn't matter. If you're funded, I would be interested in the interests of the funder. You know what I mean?
True.
And with the political parties, I'm happy with the new system they brought in, where political parties must declare who's funding them. You know, and in the last election, I had a nice time where I just went and I read. I looked at ANC, funding, fund, I looked at all of them, and I saw all their funders, and I was able to say, yeah, man, this is good. You know, this is a good system, because now all these years we didn't know. You know, but recently they started saying, no, you must show the voters who is funding. Now you are able to think and say, so you were funded by so and so.
Even though there
What
are
are
those
your
that they do
interests?
hide.
Yeah, but at least you are able
At
to get
least.
some sort of disclosure. Yeah, and it can get you into a research line or something. Yeah, I wanna learn. So I think with Much and Much, I mean, look, like Jacinta said, look, come to us, ask for our bank statement, whatever. I will wait for the media people to follow up on that one, you know. But you see, with me, the reason I said I take a bird's eye view, because I don't want to commit to anything I don't know, you know. It's the same with political parties. Um, right now, my position is unless the political party leaders have sat with me, they've shown me everything, they've explained to me where they're coming from, shown me the funding model, shown me what they're trying to do. Yeah, you know, I can't really say I support. I can just, from where I'm sitting, looking at the screen, seeing what they're saying, just go on that to say, okay, maybe I can vote for this guy or that guy. But you know, I'm not a hardcore supporter of any political party at the moment. I'm just trying to see who best maybe aligns. And it's the same with Much and Much. I just look at it as, you know, I go on what I am seeing. You understand? And if anyone is saying anything without proof, like for example, the claims that Jacinta was disputing there to say she's being funded by Israel. She said no. I mean, there's no evidence. And since they didn't bring any evidence, it falls flat. Until such time you bring proof for whatever, you know, yeah, I'll just take it. You're just talking, you know, you're just making accusations. Like that guy who, you know, was being asked, bring the proof of the video where I said people must perish. Couldn't provide evidence. So do you see? So we have to be very careful with the current media landscape, because when I look at it from bird's eye view, I look at all the different factions in South Africa doing battle from above. You know what I mean? Like I'm looking at a chessboard. So I see all of them as factions at battle. I'm not necessarily looking at who's wrong, who's right. I'm trying to understand what are you fighting for, and you know what is the force behind you driving you for this thing. You know, to understand that, you know, and then I can draw conclusions in terms of where these things are going. Yeah, you know what I mean. But that's my whole view on funding. I think these people are trying to make themselves. I mean, politicians shouldn't talk about funding at all. You know,
At all,
no one
right?
from
That's
the
what I thought. Now.
no one from the political arena should be trying to say anything about anybody's funding, because if we ask them to bring out their books, they will have problems. So I
Bro,
don't
they
think
burnt
they.
the parliament, bro. They burnt the books, bro. like, but just one point before I let Venus come in, you know, this thing of just pinning everything to Much and Much and whatnot. as the people outside, I don't know anybody that is saying a march and march, Operation Tutula and whatnot. You know, again, it's either showing how detached they are, or they just trying to hide whatever that the country is feeling and whatnot, and try to pin it into one movement and say, no, South Africans don't think this way. It's these people that think this way. Because I'll tell you this, the March and March movement is a reflection of the long-standing concerns of South Africans. This thing is not about March and March. It's about the issue of illegal immigration that was there for a long time and people were complaining about for a long time. So it's a South African issue. It's the issue that South Africans have. It's not an issue that March and March has. It's a South African issue. But then for some reason, they're gaslighting us. No, you don't feel that way. No, you were just told to feel that way. Like, imagine politicians, bruh, the government, telling people about conspiracies, bro. What does this world come to? What is happening here, bro? Like, bro, it's so crazy, bro. That the government is like, it's like the friend that is saying, when you go, no, you see here, these people are lying to you and whatnot. Now it's the government telling the people, bro. This is so weird, bro. That's how you know how much fake they are, bro. Since when the government is pushing conspiracy theories now? But yeah,
Lindo,
Venus, man.
Lindo, before you let Venus in, I just want to say, remember to read the comments. Né? Maybe after Venus, please also read the comments so we can bring the audience in.
All right. So yeah, people, make sure you like and subscribe, you comment, and then make sure you flag the live chats, share your thoughts, share your opinions, ask a question, or disagree with something or agree with something. Feel free, guys. All right, Venus.
On the funding issue, I look at it this way: as a normal South African who don't really care about many things, but I'm forced to pay attention because they affect me either way. So this funding thing, firstly, I would say it's very interesting that out of all countries they would have brought forward in the picture, they mentioned Israel. Who's the source? Who's the source of this journalist who was asking this question, even saying it's Israel, if they funded by Israel, or giving that?
And what does Israel benefit from this? From
but like
illegal immigration.
So why Israel in all countries? What's Israel has to do with March and March? Okay, we don't have to answer that one. And then I'll come to this thing which is how many non-profits or NGOs, whatever, are here in South Africa? How many of them do they ask who's funding you? I'll make an example. There's this, is it NPO or NGO? It's called a Mapongane, if I'm not mistaken. Those are group of lawyers, they prosecute people. When the NPA is not doing anything or seeming they're incapable, these people will bring cases before the courts, there will be trials, they will win, all these things. They always hold people accountable. I don't mean to be a black, but it's always the black people they go after. We have such people. Who has asked them who's funding them? We don't have to answer that one. Now to this funding thing. The way I look at it, at the beginning of this year, the government, the journalists, when saying anything about who's funding March and March, you can go back. But see, here's my theory is, because I remember beginning of this year, they've been going on for some time. The first time I took notice of March and March was during the Ellington situation, the Ellington primary school. That's when I was like, oh, okay. And we spoke about this, you and I, like, oh, what's happening here? And then my concern was, hey, why there's so much women there, where's the men? There's a few men, and then a month or what later they came in, and then it became what it is today. But all the time, and from all the matches we've been seeing on media or on social media, a very large number of people marching, no violence, no whatsoever, nothing wrong going on, it's just people with a common goal, They've never asked who's funding these people. But why am I saying this? It's because if you go back, you trace it. The journalists and government have always been changing their tune. It's like they are trying all the tricks they can try in their playbook. They will say a certain thing, maybe it doesn't work, and then they'll say another thing. So that's the thing that's being playing around. Just like how they went called vigilantes, and then suddenly months or weeks later, now they are vigilantes, So they've been, if you trace it back from January until now, there are a lot of things that they've been said, they've been called off. People of marching man. So what I'm trying to, my point here is, they are trying all these tricks, different tricks in the book, and if they see it doesn't stick, they try another. Because this funding thing, I saw a video of President Ramaphosa, and I first saw the one of Philip Balol saying, these, I don't know if he said they might be or they are funded by foreign entities who seek to destabilize our country. Ramaphosa came and said the same thing. And then the media started to ask this thing, who's funding much and much? What? I saw another video on TikTok where it was this guy who wears a lot of capes or beanies,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was about to mention him as he was having an EFF guest.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting to. That's the video I'm talking about.
Yeah.
They were so serious, bro. Like scientists, bro. Like neuroscientists, bro, about to operate someone's head, bro. They're trying to break down who's funding much and much. The funny thing is, they didn't say who's funding much and much. They were just like, they taking their the FF guy. They frame referencing from the political perspective, saying, there's buses, there's this, you need an organizer, you need this, you need that. But still at the end of the thing, they didn't say who's funding much and much. So the other mistake they are making, they are associating.
Sorry, on that guy with the beanies. You know what I dislike about that guy? He likes to pretend as if, it's for the people, it's for the culture, I'm a different white person. I'm not like other white people. I'm different. You know what I mean? And this same person does not recognize, because going back to Jacinta's point, saying that whenever black people come together, it has to be about money. You cannot picture them just actually coming together and uniting for the same cause. He doesn't see what he's doing, because suggesting that this would have not been possible without any major funding or backing is crazy. But continue.
Yeah, as I was saying, they are associating this thing of much and much through the same thing that goes through like the process of political parties when they are having organizers to fill up their stadiums and what. And they are wrong, because much and much is not a political party. And according to them, they don't want to be associated with politics. Yeah, but here's the thing, Mina, another thing I want you to look at. Look at me. I'm not saying much and much is part of MK, but I'm showing you some similarities in terms of certain things. Yeah, but when MK was formed, who was funding who was funding MK to organize all those people during the past elections, especially in KZN? No one. I'm telling you, because I saw it like this. You driving on the road, you seeing MK people marching. People will stop where they are going. They will join. People will be pressing their hoods, bro, hitting their hoods, bro. People will just join. People were using their own cars. People were using their own money to create the merchandise, the T-shirts and what. It didn't have to do with the MK. Those T-shirts were not sold by the MK. It was the people on the ground, whatever profit they made, they kept it for themselves. They kept it going. But from another set of eyes, they would think the whole thing was funded. No, it wasn't funded. Just the party registration, that party, yeah. But the way things were happening, you would think it was funded. So it's the same thing or situation with Match and Match. People resonate, so this thing resonated with this thing. Yeah, and then started participating on this thing, and then you came this thing of donation. Then Kumkos Uzod, if I'm not mistaken, gifted to the Ford Ranger, and then the people started saying, "Oh yeah, where did he get this car? Someone is funding him." It's public knowledge who bought him the car. But people always wanna, that's the thing I have to say, with that funding thing. If you look at MK, how it rose up, no one was, everything that was happening, those marches, yes, they were announcing there's going to be a march, but people weren't given buses to get there. Like in that, the guy with the beanies he was saying, you need organizers, you used to get buses and what. That wasn't the case with MK. People were paying for their own transport. Same thing with March and March. People are paying. People are paying their own transport to get to those get-togethers, bro. And sometimes when they're marching, just people who somewhere in town maybe went to town to pay his bills, he sees March and March, he's like, hey, I got time, instead of going back home, let me join the march. It's like that. And that's the thing, you would say, an organized thing by the elites or political elites will never be the same as the one of the people. Because the people, even the ones that are leading them, haven't reached this stage of elitehood. They all take themselves as equals. And they do whatever they can to band together at that moment until someone else ruins it, of course, as it happens sometimes. Yeah, but I'll make an example. When someone is being funded, have you seen the last gatherings of the ANC, how they've been? They have all the money. They have all the organizers, but no one is showing up at the stadium. So, you know what I'm saying? So the same people who are supposed to be showing up there are showing up for things like March and March or Tutula or what. Because it's being led by people like them, until they rise, and it will depend if they change or they don't change. So yeah, let me pack it there.
Yeah, but and also I want to say this for the people watching. You know how to recognize propaganda. You know when you start seeing similar talking points as if this thing is coming off a script and whatnot. We're all human. We know what we can hear, and you're okay. You know when like it's similar talking points. Like I'll make an example. You know what I mean? You remember when Gaten McKenzie came out and started speaking about, don't let your children go out there. They'll be arrested or beaten up or whatnot. You know how many times I've heard that exact same thing from media members, from other political parties who are against this thing that is happening, from whatever. I can hear myself. I think someone is going to mute it. Mute, but oh yeah, it was coming from your side. All these people saying the exact same point. I even saw Bram taking my bra. I just saw a video of her talking about how, I don't know, shall I play it? Let me play it. It was because it's the same talking point. I don't know, maybe they saw that, okay, maybe because she does content that perhaps touches some spirituality and whatnot, So they're like, okay, maybe if we get this person to speak on our behalf on this, maybe.
Well, if you want to talk about her, play it. But first, please read the audience comments before you do.
People comment. The comments that we have here is Elvin Pillay. Shout outs to you. God protect South Africa. Hey, we need that so much, And then KZN, always saying things that they say, always saying things they say, whatever works and fits their goals. That's what they always say. Saying some, but I don't know. Like Venus, Are you there?
Yeah. They always
Can you
saying
read?
things.
Uh-huh.
They always saying things. They say whatever works and fits their goals. That's why they are saying something new all the time.